Hi, I'm Shawn from Bean Me Up. We are a 25-year-old restaurant in Goa, and over the years, I've met some incredible people at Bean Me Up doing some amazing things. So, over the years, I've spent hours and days speaking to some of these really inspiring people, and this has led me to starting this podcast. Today, we're going to have with us Darryl D'Souza. Darryl is a healer and therapist based out of Goa. He is the author of the book Become Healthy or Extinct. Now, this book guides you to reversing your chronic illnesses using integrative natural therapies and medicines. He is also on several panels which discusses health and nutrition and a TEDx speaker. Hey, such a pleasure to have you, Darryl. You have such a wealth of information. It's always, whenever I talk to you, I can spend hours. If I had the option to have days, I can spend days with you also because every time I sit and talk to you, so much of information that I get from you. And it is just phenomenal. And that is why it's people like you who have inspired me to do this talk. So let us start by understanding of how you got into being a healer and a therapist. And because I understand you had a very corporatish life to begin with, like we all at some point, because like that is what we are conditioned, or that is what we were conditioned, I think, in our generation, that we should excel in our education in school and college. That is a syllabus that is forced down to us, and then we should have this a bank job or a government job, or something to brag about, a job that pays and parents can brag about that, oh, my son is a manager in a bank, or he's working in a MNC, or he's got a government job. But we just were required to do these jobs for bragging rights for our parents. But nobody really asked us what makes us happy. But I think some of us, and the amazing thing that I see here is that beam me up, all the people that come here and I meet, and people like you are the people who somehow realize that that is not what our life should be all about, and have made this drastic change and pursued what came intuitively to you. So tell us, you have a very fascinating story, so I would like you to share it with us.
Yeah. Thank you, Shawn, and
Thank
it's always a pleasure to be back at Bean Me Up and have deep interactions with you on these topics that are close to our hearts. And yes, so how I came to this place, and like you rightly said, I was in the corporate. I was an industrial engineer, and I did that for 17 years. And
Wow,
it
17 years, huh? I didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah. So it was at the peak of my corporate life. I was already head of department, managing projects with technicians and engineers. And then I was offered the place of CEO. And that's when I realized that, but the question was, am I going to dedicate my life to a company and its growth and all of that? You see? And then I started asking myself some serious questions, and I chose not to take that and do something else. Um, in the monsoon, I came down with my friends from engineering who had already just spent 1 2 years working. It was like a reunion. Six of us came down. We were living at my home in Goa, and I wanted to take them to all the good places. And one of my favorite places was the spring in Kandalim. But I didn't realize that every time we used to go to the spring, it would be summer vacation time when we would
Yeah.
come down from Mumbai. But this time when we coordinated leave, it was pretty late, so it was in July and full blown rains. And I took them to the spring and I started drinking that water and filling bottles. And I asked all my other five friends to have that water. They were freaked out. They said, no way, you can't bring us in the middle of the jungle where there's all overgrowth and creepers here, there, everything is dirty. And just because there is some spring water and some small fishes in it, which you claim are keeping the water clear, we are not going to touch it. Nobody touched it. So just to prove a point again that it's good and we have it all the time, I filled 2 bottles of that water and I was drinking it for the next 2 days. And after, like, on the third, fourth day, I started having dysentery. After 2 3 days I was even having blood in my stools. So of course, again emergency. I went to the doctor, then antibiotics and all of that. And so that went on. The infection didn't get cured completely because I was a project engineer working on various sites, mainly in North India, drinking tap water, eating very spicy food. So my intestines didn't heal. And then I was diagnosed with amoebiasis, and after a couple of years with amoebic colitis. So that really got my health ruined completely. And over the years, to keep it short, from amoebic colitis, it went to anal fissures, then first degree piles, second degree piles. By the time I was 32 years old, third degree piles by the time I was 35, and I had to be operated. So I had a digestive tract where you normally hear, senior citizens getting operated for third degree piles by the time they're 55, 60. And I had already reached that stage when I was 35.
Wow. Okay.
So further analysis showed that I had a candida infection, fungus in my intestines and all of that.
Damn. And all this when you were 35 years old. So
Yeah.
all yeah. Okay.
So, so this
So you couldn't work basically. Your work also did it interfere in your work? You couldn't.
yeah, quite a lot. And the peak was somewhere near 2004. I can't do anything. I can't even eat food properly. I can't even wear clothes. And, I have no future. Who's going to marry me? I can't have any job, get any income. So at that point, I thought it was pretty logical. And now, what happened in all those years? It was 14 years, from
Wow.
1991
So it
till
started basically in 1991. The
one
issues, the
with
medical issues
with the pneumonia.
with the yeah. Okay.
So that is the first time I would say in my life that my immunity broke down, and that paved the way for further weakness.
Huh.
And that's how amoebiasis also got me very, very easily. So over these 14 years, initially I was on allopathy for the first 2 3 4 years, and then when the digestive issues wouldn't go even with allopathic treatment, then I went to Ayurveda. So 2.5 3 years Ayurveda, 2 3 of the best Ayurvedic seniors in the country, you know, even that did not settle my digestive issues properly. Then I went to homeopathy. I did homeopathy also for 2.5 3 years. Even that did not, cure my problems. Then I heard of healers and energy medicine, Reiki, pranic healing. I went to all of these healers and started taking healing. 1.5 year into it, still I'm not getting better. In fact, I'm getting from bad to worse every month. And then senior healer told me, nobody can heal you. It's a karmic issue. You have to heal yourself.
Okay.
So then I took initiation in Reiki in the year 2000. And I started doing the Reiki healing for myself. 32 hand positions. Takes you about 1 hour, 15 minutes or 1.5 hours. I had to do that once in the morning before, I would kind of go to work.
So you were very determined to heal yourself,
Yes.
like no matter what,
Yes.
and you were trying all
I was trying
everything that is out there.
Yeah. So, and so 1.5 hour before work, then I go to work, then I come back in the evening, 1.5 hour after that also I'm doing all of this, playing the bell music and all of that, very nice. But still I'm not getting better. I could feel a little bit of energy and warmth and healing happening, but I was not getting better. Medication was getting worse. Then I gave up on this. Then the last frontier is praying, begging God, doing as a Catholic, doing novenas in St. Michael's Church in Mahim, Mumbai.
Mahim, yeah. Many people do that.
I did everything people told me to
Yeah.
do, but I landed up finally at that stage, and so I very logically I said I've done everything under the sun,
Yeah.
and I've done everything people have told me. It's not working. So I've had enough of suffering, and basically I don't want this life anymore. Sitting at home without clothes and not able to eat and not able to, even my footwear used to give me itching, so I wouldn't be walking around much either. And I said, okay, there should be an easy way to end this life. I'd come to that stage.
Wow.
Okay. And just at that time when I had almost decided let's take the easy way out and find a, way to do this. And I came across a naturopath. my neighbor, told me that you're not going to work, what's wrong with you? And I explained to him. He said on Hill Road, there's a retired textile engineer, not even a doctor,
In Bandra.
in Bandra, Hill Road, Bandra. He said, Ashwin Dalal by name. He said, why don't you go and meet him? He has cured many people of serious illnesses. Uh, so I said, what does he do? He says he does acupressure, and that is like pressing points on the hands, and then he will
So
give
at
you.
this time, I think you had nothing to lose because
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was ridiculous, and I said, and I said, what else? He said some herbs. I said, herbs I've done enough. But then I wanted to live, and I said, okay. I just went over there, and for an hour I gave him all my details, the names of all the doctors and whatnot. I mean, like I said, I reached the seniors. Even for the skin allergies, Dr. Rui Fernandez in Mumbai was treating me. At that time, he was the head of the Dermatologists Association of India. So I would always land up with people. I was treated by a research scientist also in Mumbai hospital who doesn't treat normal people and all of that, because I got reference from, a friend of his. So done all of that. So I went and told him all of this. And well, he said, I understand all your symptoms, and it's so bad that even I can't give you the name of your illness comprehensive.
could it have been an autoimmune disease? Now looking
No,
back, no.
no, it was not an autoimmune disease. So then he said, no matter what it is, we will start working on it, and I can promise you that you will get cured. So literally, I didn't want to say the words, but I just wanted to give him respect because he was like 68 years old, retired.
And this was the gentleman in Bandra.
Yeah, in Bandra.
Okay.
Okay. And I said, almost in a soft challenge, I said, okay, you tell me what has to be done, I'll do it. So then he explained, show me acupressure, some neem, tulsi, bale powder, mix it like this. You have something in the morning. You have this kidney cleanse powder of tea leaves in the evening. And all of the remedies were do it at home or go and get this from your banya, these powders. So I said, pretty doable, and I started doing that stuff. And I was actually shocked. By the fourth day, evening, I was not feeling so itchy. So I didn't take my night medication. And I said, is something working? And then I went on next morning, I took it again. By the seventh day, I was not feeling so itchy, so I didn't take my morning medicine and my evening medicine. Then I took it next
Wow.
morning.
Yeah.
So I started getting better. And I was shocked. And within 10 days, I knew something is happening. Let's go with it, do it properly. Like, go to him and tell me everything, and I'll follow whatever you say. And so in 6 months, my allergies went away completely. I went back to work. His treatment was flexible, so do a little bit of half an hour acupressure in the morning, and then have these couple of powders, come back in the evening, do this stuff and all. Doable. And that's how I, within 6 months, my allergies went, and there was not much of diet and nutrition in that. It was acupressure. He was following a system and 2 books, Health in Your Hands by Dr. Devendra Vora. He was directly trained under Dr. Devendra Vora, and he used to manage their health camp at Asha Parekh Hospital in Mumbai, where hundreds of people used to come every day. So, so then I whatever he could teach me, I went back to him, and I said I want to learn this thoroughly. So there were 2 hours, 3 hours classes that I went, and I did for about 6 months. Both those volumes of the first volume of the book was the common illnesses, and then second volume of the book was the serious illnesses like muscular dystrophy, cancer, blood cancer, leprosy, and all of that. So I studied all of that under him, and then I actually studied it because I said, this is so amazing that I want to teach others also how to do this. If I can, if I can get cured and all within 1-2 months, I can see amazing results. Then what are people doing?
So that was the kind of a point where your life changed, I think, because from being helpless to wanting to healing yourself to now wanting to help others.
Yeah.
Because you were in such misery, you didn't want others to be also in that misery. You want to now get other people out of their misery also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my inspiration, and I said the system is pretty doable. Anybody can do it at home, and this is what I should be sharing with people. So then I went further into it. Then I started doing my own research on diet and nutrition, and my own experiments with it. And within a year's time, I started treating my friends, family, neighbors, the household mate. She was one of my first success cases, where this hospital told her you got kidney stones and you need to have an operation. She was crying because her husband was a drunkard, not earning enough money, no job. She couldn't have enough money to do all of that. And then I just took her hands. In 3-4 minutes, I told her, "You got an appendix infection. It is not that there are kidney stones in your right kidney. You may have a little that they have seen in the uh, sonography. But I said, do these points, press these points 3-4 times a day, and tell me tomorrow morning." So by the next morning, she came back to work. She said, "My pain has gone." So I said, "Yeah, because the main infection is in your pancreas, I mean your appendix,
Mm.
and not your right kidney. So do this more often, every day." And she did a kidney cleanse also that I had given her. She did that for 15 days, and then whatever small stones were there, they got dissolved. Her appendix got cured, and she didn't have to do any procedure. So with such miraculous things where operations also are not required for this condition, that condition, heart, kidney. So that really kind of made me understand that this is breakthrough, and it can handle the such tough conditions that even doctors can't manage. So that was my inspiration to go further into it.
Wow.
So, so I on weekends, so I went back to work. So from 2005 to 2010, I started treating patients on weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, and rest of the week I was doing my ordinary work. And mind you, who are the kind of people who are coming to me for treatment? Just cases like me itself, people who had tried allopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda, and all, because nobody is going to just try somebody who's young and who says he has, worked on himself and all of that. They want the experts in the world. So so very sick people would come, who doctors,
Who have given up hope,
yeah,
pretty much.
most of the main healing systems cannot cure. Those people would come. So right from my first patient, it was serious, and they were seeing results within 2-3 months. So treating those kind of people, I got a lot of experience and practical knowledge. And then with all of that, at the end of 2010, starting 2011, that's when I said that I want to write a book on this, because I've treated a few thousand people also in those 5 years, and I said I want to write a book on it, make it share it with the world, and that's when the change came. I said I don't want to be an industrial engineer anymore. I did a critical analysis one day. I said, what am I doing? Raw materials to finished goods in a faster time, basically taking natural non-renewable resources from the planet, making stuff of it, creating more industrialized world, more pollution, faster life. I said, I don't want to be part of this industrial revolution. It's showing that it is destroying the earth, and it's destroying our health as well. And I said, why do I need this kind of karma?
Yeah.
Why don't I do something else and teach people how
Something
to,
more sustainable.
yeah,
Yeah.
right? Why don't I do the opposite? Why don't I become part of the mechanism that is healing people and reversing this damage to the earth? So that's what I left Mumbai. I came back to my ancestral home that was closed in Goa, did the repairs over 6 months. That time I wrote my book, and then I shared the book freely. I made a website. I'd never done a website in my life. I just researched how this, that, WordPress, made an account, booked a website.
I was one of the first people. I don't know, but I read your book in when it came out to 2013. I think
12, yeah.
12, 13. Yeah, yeah. So it was an ebook.
I released it
and
in November of 2011. But
okay.
then I publicized it in 2012 and all.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when
yeah.
you got to know about
So I
it.
got to know of your book in 2013, and it was an eye opener for me, because even I was embracing this kind of lifestyle, and I was. It was still a bit early, I think. Now it is quite mainstream with the so-called alternative medicine, which I don't think is an alternative at all. it is should be mainstream, which
Mainstream.
was mainstream in India for the
Yeah.
longest time,
Yeah.
till the Western medicine came in. I think if anything, we should call the allopathy Western medicine, and our medicine that we all know from our ancestors,
Ancestors. Yeah.
this beautiful knowledge that is passed down, which is dying off unfortunately, because they have a much more stronger control over the system, and that is
Yeah.
being shoved down us, and we are being misinformed about this. So that would be my next question to you actually. So first of all, thank you, because your book can still be downloaded for free, the ebook.
Yeah. It's still free.
So that is the beautiful beauty of it. So you don't, it is not like you are so selfless that anybody who really needs it, they don't even have to buy it. But I did check, it is available on Amazon as well
Yes,
for those who want to
because
copy.
yeah, because some people were saying no, we only read Kindle and all, and you have to put it on Kindle, otherwise we will not read your book. So I said okay, I put it on Kindle. So that's the reason it's on Kindle. And then of course I was taking, I did prints also,
Yes,
and because printing and paper cost money, so then the printed
of
version is
course.
charged. But initially, I went with one principle, and this is very important to note. Why did I keep it free? Because for my analysis, I was very clear that sickness is a result of the lack of proper information. And I said all of this information is being withheld, which you can, the basic fundamentals on health, immunity, food, and all of that. I'm saying why is it being withheld, right? So that's why I said I must release whatever I can to the world, because I said this is a basic fact.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
me, it was illness is a result of either the right kind of information or too much of misinformation, which is precisely what is going on in the world right now, and that's the reason you see an increase in sickness.
Yes.
And I would say misinformation by whom? Misinformation by those people, entities, companies, corporations who benefit from you being sick.
Yes.
So then they can come and do business and give you this, give you that, all temporary stuff that is not reversing your illnesses permanently. So that's what has gripped the world, and that's why my work and dedication and my support to so many others also, who are bringing out the right natural healing sciences.
Yeah, and over the years now you have healed thousands of people, but and with various ailments, with various issues that they had, and you have even reversed cancers.
Yes, yes,
Yes, yeah, because that's a very touchy topic now. Because,
yes.
but let's talk about the elephant in the room today. Is most people that you meet, at least in Goa and India, is called the diabetes epidemic of the world. Yeah,
Diabetes capital. Yeah,
diabetes capital. Sorry, thank you
yeah.
for correcting me. Diabetes capital of the world. And in Goa, I don't know any household, anybody, probably not in your household or not in my household, or but in most households that are following the regular current lifestyle that is being given to them. The current lifestyle, I mean, the food, the packaged food that you get today, that the convenience food that you get today, and anybody who doesn't have even basic knowledge of food today, I can assure you that I have seen diabetes in that household, unfortunately. And I personally know in Anjuna, this where Bean is and where we are now sitting, I personally know a few households where people have had to get their body parts amputated
Amputated.
because there were such severe cases of diabetes.
Right.
So, and now diabetes, for anybody who has read your book or who has basic knowledge of using food as medicine, will know that type 2 diabetes can be reversed
Yes.
by making some lifestyle changes. But again, like you said, the mainstream system, you can say, or I don't know the right word, but when people go to the doctor today or a hospital, and they are told, like my mother who lives in Bombay was told she is borderline diabetic, and she freaked out and panicked. So this is also creating a fear mongering by saying, what is borderline diabetes? Is
Diabetes.
first of all, that is the question you should be asking. And secondly, is diabetes reversible, or straight away by saying that you are borderline diabetic and prescribing medication, okay, or by putting people on insulin and by using diabetes as a cash cow, what is being today is diabetes has become a money spinner, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, please give us some insight on diabetes is a very, I think you'll be the best person to tell us that how to reverse type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. So, like you said, the word fundamental. So there is the basic fundamental knowledge of what is the right kind of food for human beings is not understood in society. That's why I had to give that TEDx talk. Now, so I remember some years back, one of our common friends in Goa, I won't mention who's a microbiologist, and uh, also who grows food and teaches growing. So uh, I was having a debate with her uh, one day on diabetes, and she said, you know, Darryl, I did my PhD on insulin, okay, and it's insulin, it's an autoimmune illness, and the high levels of insulin are creating diabetes. So I'll just give you the history of this. In India, it's about 20 years back that many of the medical doctors, learning from doctors in the US like Neil Bernard and all of that. 20 years back, the news was going around that type 2 diabetes is happening because of too much glucose in the blood, too much sugar in the blood. And then they were trying all of these things to reduce the sugar. Then it's been after about 10 years, they came up with this, deeper knowledge that it is not the elevated levels of glucose, it is the elevated levels of insulin. And because of insulin resistance,
Yes.
you are having kidney malfunction, this, that, and many things are not working. So, again, that is blamed on autoimmune. Every time the blame comes on the human body, that this thing is a problem. But what I teach in my book, and which I had done in 2011 itself, I teach living sciences, natural living sciences, which are operating principles in nature. So, in all through my book, it's training people how to look at nature cycles and then compare it with what we are doing, our artificial behavior in the city. And what it turns out in nature, many species close to us, uh, they are eating, most major of the fruits in the fruiting season. Then there's the vegetable season. It's in the winters that when you don't get fruits and vegetables, and then you mostly go for grains,
Yeah.
because in the previous, like monsoon, the rice and wheat grows. Then if you just leave it in nature, in October time it dries off, it will fall to the ground, and then in November, December, January, Feb, you will have the wheat and rice on the ground. And because you have a scarcity of the fresh fruits and vegetables and all, you go to this is the natural cycle of nature. This is
Absolutely.
what we should be doing. But no, human beings want to eat rice and wheat products
Every day.
not twice a day, but 4 times a day.
Yes.
They will have the rotis in the morning with bhaji, or they'll have the idli, or they'll have some pasta. Then lunch is all, of course, any of these. Then you see them in the evening, they're having bread, and it's either wheat or a rice product. And then for dinner, some people claim they're having salad. And you look at their salad, there's pasta, there's
Some
noodles,
bread on the side. Yeah.
yeah. So, so when you look at natural cycles, this is what is wrong. So if now all of those other species close to us, they will eat the grains more in that winter time, and after winter time they will stop eating, and that will reduce, and then there's more reliance on fruits and vegetables. Human beings, we don't do that. Right from the time the child has got teeth, like 4 years, 5 years, the mother wants to put aloo ka parotha in the mouth. Okay. So, because this was done traditionally, and I would say, I've been saying it for many years, it's the Indian traditions. Don't think they're the wisest diet on the planet. No, it's the Indian tradition food plate that has made India the diabetic capital of the world. Okay, so I'll just give you a second indicator of another food, then you'll understand. So it is this. So you're going to eat wheat products or rice products, complex carbs, in the morning for breakfast. So what's happening? Your glucose is going up. Who's going to bring it down? Pancreas have to work. They have to make insulin. It's going to come down. So you get that breakfast
Spike.
spike.
Yeah.
Then you get the biggest spike for lunch. Then evening tea maybe a little lesser than the breakfast spike. And then you get dinner spike, which is lesser than the lunch spike. So every time glucose is going up, you force the pancreas to pump out insulin and bring this down. You fatigue your pancreas, and now you have changed the composition of blood. The healthy composition of blood should not have so much insulin all throughout the day. And so when that blood with too much insulin is going to your brain, is going to your heart, is going to your digestive system, kidney, pancreas, you'll have insulin resistance of organs. That's basically the organs trying to tell you, you idiot, what are you doing to pump in so much insulin to me? So the human body, I said there's no such thing in my book. There's no such thing as an autoimmune disease. There are only rightful autoimmune responses.
That is your
For
body telling you.
rightful autoimmune responses from a body trying to maintain homeostasis. Homeostasis is the mechanisms of the body that maintain the blood pH from 7.35 to 7.38 and other constituents of blood. So, so that's so this is for me at this depth of knowledge. It is diabetes is not an autoimmune disease. It's a misbehavior of human nutrition disease.
Yes,
So
it's
the first,
yeah,
yeah,
it's basically it is pushing your limits
yeah.
with your diet.
So people know this. Once you reduce your rice and wheat or stop it completely and switch to millets,
Will come down.
blood sugar comes down, insulin comes down. The second big trigger, it's the details are in my book, I don't want to go into too much, is on two counts, milk and milk products. They also create diabetes. Okay, so now you will see this rice and wheat is in every Indian cuisine, and milk products and mithai and all that is in every Indian cuisine.
Dairy products.
Dairy
Yes.
products. Okay, so of course the ones that are made commercially with synthetic hormones and this antibiotics in the feed of the cow and all, those milk products are more harmful. But even the organic grass-fed holy Indian cow's milk and those milk products,
Like the A2 and all this thing
yeah,
today.
even that, when you do the research and you understand things properly, and besides the research, when you don't change anything in the diet of the person, you just stop milk and milk products completely, you will
You
see
can see
there
a vast difference.
within a week's time. Within a week's time, you see results. And it's not only
Yeah.
diabetes. My book gives at least a list of another 20 chronic illnesses in society that milk and milk products contribute to. Obesity, we know that, hormonal imbalance, PCOD, fibroid, arthritis, cataract, glaucoma, asthma, tendency towards pneumonia, bronchitis, all of this comes from milk and milk products. Kidney stones
Absolutely.
also, it contributes to breast cancer, ovarian cancer, even this. Right now, the cervical cancer that they're trying to treat with HPV vaccines,
Yeah.
that is not actually the right treatment. The main reason for cervical cancer is oral contraceptive pills, and the second is milk and milk products. So, yeah, so then coming back to diabetes, so besides these couple of foods, too much of fried food also, it's
Yes.
explained in my book how it, worsens diabetes. So basically, when we get back to natural, on page 149 of my book, there's the, healthy diet. And so people say, okay, to reverse diabetes, I understand I should go on this diet. And for how long do I have to do it? You know? And they said, besides diabetes, what else is? I said, yeah, this will help you reverse your, cholesterol, high BP, obesity, hormonal imbalance, and all of that. So
But
then,
I think the answer should be that this is your lifestyle. It can't be.
yeah, so you know about it already. So then they say, when can I get off this diet? And I said,
It's
and
like,
do what?
yeah.
And do what?
Go back
Eat
to getting the disease.
I said, this is the food that not only you,
Food
every
is the
person.
medicine. This is the food that is your
Yeah,
medicine.
I
Right?
said, this is the original food for human beings. Not only you who are sick in your family, but your other family members who have not got diabetes till now. If they are on this diet, they will not get diabetes anytime in their life. And I said, look at the diet properly. Because, see, it's human psychology. When we say diet, it translates into depression, instantaneous depression. When you tell somebody, I'm going to put you on a diet,
They think that it is something that you have to do
lesser.
till you
It's
to
always
heal
less.
yourself, and then you go back to your regular lifestyle. But if your regular lifestyle is all processed food, and that your regular lifestyle has made you sick in the first place,
Yeah.
by going back to your regular lifestyle, you're going in this vicious circle then.
Right.
By going on a regular, your processed food, getting sick, and then going on the diet should be the natural foods that you should be eating, and there's such a disconnect with food, I think, today. And it has fascinated me because at some point when I was in US, I used to go to these fancy health food shops, Trader Joe's or other, supermarkets, and there used to be like mangoes all year round. So when there was season in Whole Foods, you go there, and if it is like there's no mango season, you go when there's mango season in Thailand, you have mangoes from Thailand.
Right.
And when there's mango season in Costa Rica, there's mangoes from Costa Rica, and there's mangoes from Brazil. So all year round you're getting your mangoes when you are in these fancy places, because you can afford to have it. So people over there don't know. For us living in India, we know that mango season is in the summer.
Yeah.
Jackfruits you can have in the summer.
Yeah.
And then, there's a season for amlas where you can have, which is good food. You can make pickles or you can have it. And in the winter, there are other fruits that come and vegetables. So eating seasonal, the very, very importance of microbiome,
Yeah.
and why that is so crucial and why we should understand
Right.
that. If you can just shed some light on that for us.
Yes.
To eat seasonal, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll explain it in 2-3 parts. One is what is natural in nature, then what we have deviated to and why, and then who takes advantage of this, comes in and gives us product services, and we give them our money and all of that.
And that is starting to happen in India also now. We get a lot of
Right.
imported fruits now. If you go to a
Yeah.
fruit shop today, you will see, oh, sir, this is from Thailand and this is from New Zealand apples. And, so why is it fundamentally wrong?
Yeah. So now to explain the situation is from where do we get microbiome, right? The healthy gut bacteria and all of that. So it's a cyclic process in nature, and human beings are the only species on the planet who are suffering from lack of good healthy gut bacteria. The other animals living in the wild and all,
They don't have any issues.
they don't have any issues. So so these bacterium are there in the seawater. They even rise in the vapors of the seawater. They go into the clouds. It comes down as rain. It's there in rainwater, and then it goes into the soil. And with the soil, microorganisms and all, they proliferate and they multiply faster, right? So that's the cycle. It goes into the soil. From the soil, it comes into the plants, and then these animals just go and eat the raw plant, and they get daily influx
The intake of B12 or whatever, what have you.
yeah, so those organisms that get into your body from your food, they will start manufacturing the B12 and all of that. Okay, so and then of course it's also there, in the plants from all of this. So now they are eating, the food, and whether any organism or animal or human being, whatever you take in, you use as energy, and then there's a byproduct which is stools and urine. So every day there is an exit, there's a loss of gut bacteria, which shows that every day it should be coming in. Now these animals that eat in the wild and drink waters from brooks and streams and ponds and lakes, they are getting the daily influx and they're drinking that water, so they remain healthy and their gut bacteria is good. In the city, we are cooking most of our food. Even the vegetables that come, we are scraping them. We are
Peeling off the skin.
peeling off the skin, putting them in potassium permanganate water, vinegar water. So no healthy bacteria is coming at all. Our tap water is chlorinated, so there is no healthy bacteria itself. So then you are
Or the filters are taking
Yeah.
off all the good bacteria also, because they are saying
Yeah,
like the UV,
the UV
and
will kill
the RO
everything.
and all that. They're taking
See-
out the bad, but they're taking out the good also.
Yeah.
So basically, even the
Now,
water.
But see, if you are talking of city water, there is no living bacteria in it because it's already chlorinated.
Okay.
Okay, so the machine has nothing left to kill, you know, except some of the bacteria that are there circulating in the filters and all of that. Okay, so sometimes, of course, at the
This contamination
yeah, there can
during
be
the process,
contamination
yeah,
in
of the pipelines and
of the
stuff.
pipeline and all. So human beings are not getting any good bacteria at all. So then all of these companies come in and give us probiotic capsules and all that. What we need to correct is so this is not an altered artificial life. If we want to be healthy, we need to go back to natural principles. So now you will see the person who is living in the village. That's why I left the city and came to
Goa.
Goa, so that I could drink well water, so that I could take that water and water my plants, and I could eat some raw salads, and that's the way to get your microbiome back.
And you're growing your own fruits and vegetables
Yeah.
in your home garden.
Yes.
Yes.
So some of amount of it in between, yeah, 50% or 60% was coming from our own gardens. I didn't have enough space to grow, wheat and rice and millets and all of that. Many of the dals and pulses I couldn't
But you're
grow.
part of the ecosystem then, because you
Yeah.
are eating from the system. But for
Yeah.
example, if others are just buying a vegetable, they don't know where the vegetable is. Probably in Bombay, vegetable is growing in Pune or Nasik, that is coming from. In Goa, some vegetables are coming from Karnataka,
Belgaum.
Belgaum. So you are not getting the you're getting the microbiome of Belgaum, which probably you don't need. You need, because the microbiome will fix the issues that you have probably in
Yeah.
your body. But if you are not having locally or food from where the ecosystem that you're living in, that is going to create a gap in your health,
Yeah.
if I understand correctly.
Yeah, so I will give a clearer example in terms of the flow of the microbiome. So now there's this tree over here. Now the leaves from the tree are going to fall down. Now it is going to get if you leave it there, it's going to get
Compost.
composted. So that means there are living organisms there who are eating them up and returning the nutrients to the soil. So now these leaves are eaten by certain range of microorganisms. If you take them from that soil and put them somewhere else where similar food is not there, they will start dying and their colony size will start coming down. So what I'm trying to explain is that those organisms live around those places where that food is there. Okay, so that means they
Like a
will.
forest, for example, would be the best example.
Yeah. So you will get uh, if you want, the microbiome of that place. Now these bacterium also, they are there on the plants and all that. But the plants
But it
life,
should be within us also, because we are part of that ecosystem.
yeah. So when the plants are alive and got a lot of energy, the bacterium do not have that much amount of power to, just decompose. A new fresh green leaf will not decompose on its own, right? So life force energy has to go down, then these organisms can take it. So the organisms are there on those leaves also. So when we eat it, we get that. So now the whole science comes that I'm going to eat bhendi, tenli, potato, brinjal, and all of that is going to go in my stomach. So now who's going to break it down? Which range? Are certain probiotic capsules that are those strains are meant for zucchini and those are meant for broccoli and all of that, right? So they are meant to digest those foods. So what you said is very correct, that the strains that we need to get the strains that feed on these kind of foods,
Yes.
because those things will digest our food. Okay, so that's why it's so important to eat local and seasonal, so that the microbiome of that space is coming into your body, and you're not taking capsules from some other place. Because suppose you're feeding yourself with some probiotic capsules that have got 10 strains, and two of those strains that you're giving yourself capsules every day, they are not getting their basic food from what you're eating locally. So those will die out. The ones who are getting their food from here, their count will go up.
Yes.
So this starts balancing itself.
I've met several people now, especially the new generation, who are having gut issues.
Yeah.
So gut issues is one of the major things with the young generation today, and it is called
IBS,
IBS.
irritable bowel syndrome. Then there's
Yes.
SIBO also, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. There are
Yeah.
many such.
So all that is because we are not eating local. Our microbiome is not optimal. And once people make this connection, I think instead of just popping pills, and it is very basic. It is all comes down to understanding nature or being one with nature, I think. So once we are aligned with that, all our problems will be solved.
Yes, and there's a step before that. Through all of my, treating all my patients, I've seen that first step is the damage. That means before your intestine getting weak is a stage of assault on the intestines, creating of weakness. So from where that assault comes? That assault comes from all our processed foods, inorganic chemicals, uh, you know, synthetic tasting agents, coloring agents, flavor agents, preservatives,
And too much processed
yeah,
food,
and then stabilizers.
like even pasta noodles and
Yeah,
things like that.
and I just want to give a warning to people. If you see stabilizer on a food can, that's the worst kind of thing to pick up. Because what is a stabilizer? Without giving chemical names, there are many. If that is not put in that food airtight can or Tetra Pak or whatever, then the synthetic preservative, and some of them will react with each other and spoil that food.
Yes.
So you already have a kind of atomic warfare going on in that, processed
In
food.
that can of food, yeah.
And the stabilizer master chemical that cuts the cross reactions between all of these guys fighting each other. So
So food,
I
yeah,
call that, it's a can or Tetra
absolutely
Pak
agree.
of atomic warfare. I mean, those are atoms, those are chemical. You can call it atomic warfare. You can call it, the chemical warfare,
Yes.
and they remain stable because they are
It's
airtight.
food warfare, I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Because food is supposed to decompose.
Yeah.
If food is not decomposing, it is not food. So
Right.
if there's this, I'm sure you have seen or heard, there's this McDonald's burger
Yeah.
that was for 15 years, somebody is shooting it, and for 15 years it is looking the same, it is not breaking down.
Yeah.
So if food is not breaking down
Yeah.
by itself, how can it break down in your gut?
Yeah.
I mean, it is just basic stuff that, we have to understand. If you can't break it down in your gut, that means there's nothing happening in there. It's not digesting it.
Right.
It is just expelling that out. It is not food.
Yeah.
So if a can of whatever you are getting today, of your tomato juice or a can of beans, for example, in the West, here though we cook our beans, but in the West people buy a can of beans.
Yeah.
But that beans can be sitting on a shelf for 12 months.
Yeah.
Now, no right kind of beans in nature can be cooked and kept without breaking down
Right.
in 12 months.
Right.
So that is not real food, is it?
Yeah. So that's, yeah. So all of these are altered molecules, and we take, all these chemicals inside. And so the first stage is inflammation of your throat, your, food pipe, and then your small intestine, large intestine. First stage is inflammation. Second stage is ulceration. Third stage is tumor. Fourth stage is cancer. It depends on how much of these chemicals you take in and how much your body can eliminate. Okay, so first stage is this damage. And once there is weakness and damage and your intestines are inflamed, then they can no longer absorb nutrients of what you are giving them. So many patients are saying, I'm eating organic, I'm eating a balanced meal, but why is my B12 so low? Why am I not, why am I anemic and all of that? So I've always seen there's a history of gastroenteritis, certain stomach infections that are treated by allopathic medicine and antibiotics, because antibiotics kill a lot of our good gut bacteria, and that good count never comes back.
It takes years.
Yeah, it takes years
to fix antibiotics.
So I've always seen in all of the patients there's been a history of weakness and damage, which I call assault, and then you have to get into the stage of reducing the inflammation, healing it through acupressure, through herbs and various things. And once the inflamed intestines, the inflammation goes down, then the intestines have more capacity of absorbing nutrients. Then you start, putting on weight or getting your B12 back and all of that.
So one other quick question now. We'll just kind of rapid fire this. So salt.
Yeah.
What do you is it a boon or a curse? I mean, we love our salt. Everybody, salt is like should be having. But again, over here we use the regular salt from Mapsa market. You know, the woman
Sea salt.
selling the sea salt. We use the sea salt, or I'm using pink salt, or we're using black salt. But if you can just quickly shed some light on salt, because I think salt, simple thing like salt can make or break your your lifestyle, like your health.
Right, right.
So, like Tata salt, for example. What is your
Yes.
take on that?
So every time I would like to go to the basic principle of nature, what I say living sciences. So I give an example. Go get any wild monkey over there. Take the blood sample of the monkey, and you'll see it's got the perfect balance of sodium and chloride in it. Second question is, did the monkey, is he putting salt in his food, or is he going next to a seashore and drinking salt water? Answer is no. So you already know, and then you have to question, how is the monkey getting the perfect balance of sodium and chloride in the body? Why are the human beings having too much of sodium, and then why is it translating into high blood pressure, right? So the thing is, all of these sodium, chloride, everything is there in the soil. Plants bring it in the refined way. They have it the right balance, and the monkey eats it and gets their balance. Now, unfortunately, we are what we are doing our farming practices and all, which I call, NPK, what the government teaches, the nutrients, NPK. Hey, what about the other 75 minerals and all that? Who's returning them to the soil? Why can't you talk about that? So our commercial and most common farming practices, we are growing our food on minerally deficient soil. So you are not going to get enough of
The balanced
sodium,
diet.
yeah, in what you eat. Okay. So then some people go low in that. So once you're low, then you need to supplement it. Now when you're trying to supplement, what are your choices? So Tata salt, the iodized salt and all, which has got, aluminum oxide, hydroxide to make it, dry.
Fine, and not to clump
Yeah.
up and all this thing. Yeah.
That's what causes Alzheimer's and, problems to the nervous system. So those salts are really harmful where chemicals are put in and powdered salt. So the next is sea salt, and I advise people not to buy the one that's looking like Snow White, which has got some bleaching agents in it, which is another chemical that's going to make you sick. So sea salt is the next. If you put too much of sea salt, then you have sodium going up in the body, which will translate into high blood pressure. So instead of the sodium, then you go to Himalayan rock salt, which has got lesser of sodium, it's got more of potassium. But overall, my advice would be to people is to keep salt as low as possible, and then try to eat more natural organic food.
Thank you. And one other question now for urban Indians today, or anybody who's staying in an urban space, who are disconnected, and who feel that they want to break that barrier, or what kind of simple changes they can make in their lifestyle, that they can live an optimal life without being sick, depressed, uh, having all this kind of issues that are very common today. So, of course, the best solution would be to leave an urban space and come to a place that is not. But we were talking about that in one of your talks that I came to your talks, and you said you were giving me some examples with finances also, how it is viable to leave a urban area and move to a place that non-urban, make less money but still be content and happy, and you can live a healthy life.
Right. So that's what I did with my own life when I left Mumbai in 2010 and came here. And within 1 year, I was earning double the income of what I was doing in my corporate life. Because I opened 2, 3 business lines. I was doing personal consulting. I started the Earth Keepers Market. Then I was growing my own food as well. Then I made my house a wellness center where I had about 200 products. So, so all of these options are, and all of these are green. They are creating health for people. They are reversing the environmental damage to the planet. Whereas living in the city, every day of my living and the choices that you have there are doing the opposite. They're destroying health and they're destroying the environment. So, so you see, earning double the amount of money, having good karma, you can, you can,
And living sustainably
yeah,
and happy and microbiome
yeah,
in your gut, which is, I
right,
think, what is the point of living in a city when you are all bleached out? Your
right,
gut is bleached. So anybody who is now watching this video and who's like now getting some like light bulb moment, you can contact Darryl. He has got his website, darryldesouza.com.
.com.
Get in touch with Darryl. If you think you need to heal yourself, again, get an appointment with Darryl. And if you have any questions, Darryl is always there. Like he is just a flood of information with anything you ask. He's never busy for anybody. I think that's the beauty of you. Selflessly
So,
giving information to anybody who requires information, who requires help, who requires knowledge.
uh,
I'll put it in the description, guys. So you will have Darryl D'Souza's website. You will have the link to how to be a part of these various groups.
yeah.
And if you're ever in Goa, please do come to any of Darryl's talks, because I think every Sunday evenings you do a informative talk.
Now I do, it's online.
It's online.
Because people from across the country also want it. So I do every evening a Zoom at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. every Sunday evening, where we talk about solutions in health, food, farming, environment from a very centralized capitalist control dominated system. We have developed a very decentralized system where we tell people what you should be having is now the term is secured. Stop drinking, water that is not living water, that is toxic water. You should have food that is made by your own community, because now in the world everything is being poisoned,
Of course.
whether it's the water, your food, your natural body products, your environment also. So you can only have a healthy life where you can move to a space or your village where your own community, you trust them because they are doing rainwater harvesting, they are putting it in the soil, it's coming into wells, you're having natural, rich microbiome water. So your own community's water, your own community's food, from all the plant kingdoms, you get all the inputs to make all your body products, soaps, cosmetics, herbal, everything.
DIY, yeah, just learn
Yeah.
how to do it.
Okay,
Do it yourself, guys.
So this is what for the future of the planet, for the future of people and health. This is what I tell people. You have to have it. The only way you can have trusted and secured, and it's guaranteed, is when you do it. Your own community is doing it. And in
So
our video,
build micro communities or
Yeah.
build a community. I think Darryl is also in the
Self-sufficient
process of
community.
building a community. Yeah.
so on my website, yeah, darryldesouza.com, you will get all these links where watch our video Making New Earth. In that video, it shows how most of the problems in the world are coming from this. People think it's very scientific. Oh, the town and country planning department. Well, that department has destroyed the entire planet. They've isolated people in concrete boxes here, and they isolated the farmer here. They've increased the food miles. They have built distrust. People here don't trust what is being done here because they cannot see. And because they cannot see, these guys they cannot even survive with loans from banks and all. They're trying to do
They're
cheaper and
suiciding the
cheaper
farmers.
things. They're putting chemicals in the soil. So this entire damage is because people, and then garbage on the planet is coming from all this, producing things, needing, because of the long food miles, processing, packaging, and all of that.
Yes.
So our entire Making New Earth video, it shows you the solutions to the biggest problems in the world is when people and food can come together.
Come together.
So wouldn't you like to live in a ground floor home where in a 10-15 minutes walk, there's an organic farm, there's an orchard. It's like that vacation spot. So these are the real solutions, not this stupid United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. That's
Or
the
smart
world,
cities.
yeah, that's the work of all these, what I call the criminal capitalists on the planet. So we are the people who are suffering from that very centralized system of living, and we have to, make a decentralized system that works for us, because that system only works for them and makes them rich, and gives them money, and it gives us sickness, and
Yeah.
and we are paying them out and getting poor. I don't
And you already
understand.
have a blueprint for this.
Yeah.
So, and it is plan and action. We are
Yeah.
just not talking about it. It is,
It's going on.
the blueprint is
implementation. You see
already
the-
there. And this is, every day we are inching closer to it.
Yeah, and it's not only a blueprint, it has been there for years. Other people across the planet also have understood this. So it's in operation. What we need is for more people to understand it and for more people to participate in it. So what I did in 2010, by coming out of my corporate life, I just there's no point in going and doing morchas and writing big papers. So the world is getting destroyed. It's an industrial revolution. I hate it. Don't wish it for my children and all. That's wasting time. What I did in 2010, literally, by, by coming from Mumbai to Goa, I took out my time, my energy, my investment, my money, my participation from this concrete jungle centralized system, and I put it into a decentralized system where my time, my energy, my products and services, my job, everything is here. So this is all that people need to do. Take out the time and energy from this and put it into a local system. And when you watch our video Making New Earth, you'll understand that just this solves most of the problems on the planet that we have. This thing that it is the end times and we don't have another 20-25 years of non-renewable resources left for us. This is the complete lie that is put out by the centralized system. When you see our video, you will suddenly realize that we've given a life extension of 2,500 years to the planet by this system.
Of course.
And those who will do deeper analysis in the video, you will understand that it's not that this planet and people will only have 2,500 years. No, by that time when it comes, we will have more organic, natural systems that we will roll out, which will give us the next Yuga extension. So that's what I invite people to participate in, especially all of those people who are talking about consciousness, who are talking about spirituality, who are talking about ascension, who are talking about evolution. All of it is in this, from a very artificial system to a people's energy, people's ownership, people's responsibility, collaborative community. This is where our future is.
Wow. Thank you, Darryl, for all your insight. And there's so much more. We can go hours and hours talking about this because there's so much to talk, so much to discuss, and so much to do. So, for all those of you who are watching, try to participate in whatever way you can to make your life better, sustainable, happier, healthier. And yeah, when you're in Goa, come and say hi to us. Yeah, and meet, and we can, if you're open to further discussions like this, be in touch with Darryl and myself. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And thank you, Darryl, once again.
Yeah.
Now we're going to indulge in some amazing, delicious bean me up food that Darryl also loves. Darryl has
Looking
been coming
forward
here
to.
for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
He's been our guest at Bean Me Up. So you can watch some snippets of what Darryl is going to eat now.
Ooh, child, listen. Naturally, the voice within me that speaks to thee. Am I really what you want? Am I really what you want? 'Cause it's love that makes a woman.
And I just want to also mention, recently I gave a lecture at the Fourth World Congress on Traditional Medicine, and that lecture was on nutrition, the true science of human nutrition. And that lecture is very interesting because I'm not telling people anything. I'm asking people. I'm asking 6 questions. And so everybody in the audience gave the same reply. So this is what I'm saying. These are living sciences. This is how you get, it's in your DNA. And finally, I want to say is that when you get back to the land and you get back to trees and all of that, you start interacting with nature and you ask the right question, you get the right answers. I would go to the extent of saying that we are sick because we moved out from natural spaces, because we came
Absolutely.
into cities, and because we had only businessmen tell us what is food for their benefit. That is why we are sick. Okay? So I invite people into that deep spiritual journey of your 5 God-given senses, your own DNA, and your interaction with nature, which will tell you the truth about life, about food, about everything.
Thank you so much, Darryl.
Thank you. Thank you so much.